Good morning, guys. Happy Wednesday. So, I am getting ready to play Alex Dacy. She's going to talk about her felony charge with this underage kid, with him helping her to her apartment. But before we do that, I am going to read the statement that was given by this this underage minor. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, so I'm just going to go ahead and read it. If you can see it and you want to pause it and read it yourself instead of listening to me, and that's fine too. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see it. Alright, so this is going to be on April 14th, 2025. Officer Joshua Gabriel responded to name out regarding an information report. They met with RP, who advised of a very unusual incident that occurred on 4/13/2025, so the day before. Involving her son, name out, advised that her ex-husband, blank father, dropped him off around 7:30 p.m. She received a text that he was downstairs and waited his arrival. She grew concerned when she noticed he had not come up to the apartment. She looked at his location and saw he was still in the building. Sent a few texts. The mother sent a few texts before she went down to look for her son. Finally received a text from her mother. Finally received a text from her son, stating he was helping a disabled person enter their apartment, later identified as Alexandra Demizwia. That is her real name. I'm not sure how you say it, so aka Alex Dacy, better known as Wheelchair Rapunzel. Where were we? She was relieved that he was okay when she asked when he was coming home. She was relieved that he was okay. When she asked when he was coming home, he did not respond, and so she began to call, but got a message saying that he was still at apartment 308 helping. Mother became frustrated and went downstairs to see what was going on, and when she knocking at the door, the son opened it, and they went home. It wasn't till later that son told his mother what he had to do, which upset her, and notified the authorities. The son told her that Dacy asked if he could help her take a bath, which he obliged and helped her undress and enter the tub. Then waited until she was done and helped her out of the tub. He then had to make her bed and help clothe her. When mother heard this, she became upset, as she mentioned what type of person would ask a minor to help them take a bath. 100%. Okay, and now we're going to get into what the minor says. And this is... Then we're going to get into what she says. I want to make sure I wanted to read this report first, so let's get into paragraph 2. I then spoke with son. It should be noted that he was alone and his mother was not within earshot of the conversation. Son explained that he got home around 7:30 p.m. and made his way to the elevator. While there, Dacy also entered the elevator. She began making small talk, asking what the Florida public school system was like and how old he was. Minor replied and was then asked if he was able to assist her with getting and how old he was. Minor replied, and then she asked if he was able to assist her with getting into her apartment. Minor agreed and helped. While inside, Minor asked if that was all. And Dacy asked if he could assist her in taking a bath. Minor found that request to be rather unusual, but asked himself, WWJD, what would Jesus do? With minor hesitation, the miner helped undress Dacy and helped her into the tub. While there, he advised that he did not look as it would be disrespectful. But Dacy made another unusual request as she asked him if he could get her a beer. Confused by the request, as he told her that he is only 13, he advised that he didn't want to make it seem that he was not being helpful, so he went down to valet and asked, and they obviously did not give him the alcohol. When he went back up, he then helped her out of the tub, and proceeded to help her undress for bed. Dress for bed, make her bed, and put on a mask and assisted her with sleeping. At which point his mother was knocking at the door, demanding that he go back home and that the woman should be ashamed as she asked a minor to do those things. I then spoke to Dacy, who advised she did not mean any harm to the minor or his mother. Dacy stated that she has a lot of issues obtaining a state nurse who works around the clock. She advised that her roommate is usually there to help, but with her roommate's new engagement, she is also never home. Dacy stated that she saw this opportunity to have someone help her get to bed, so she took a chance to ask for help. Dacy advised that minor was nice and helpful, and that she was intoxicated at the time, as she stated she came from the wharf. She mentioned that her judgment should have been a lot better, but she just needed someone to assist her with getting to bed. When questioned about the purchase of the beer, Dacy stated that she asked if minor could use the Uber app to order beer for her, and specifically her. But when the delivery arrived, it was ginger beer. Due to the nature of the incident, the SVU detective was notified regarding the matter. CCN 1918. Both Dacy and minor advised that nothing happened. Minor advised that he helped out in good faith as he saw that she was disabled. There was no indication of prior messages between the two involved, as Officer Campbell, CCN 1896, browsed through the phone history. Mother did sign on behalf of her son regarding Marcy Law for forum and victim advocate, with pursuing prosecution pending investigation. Photos that mother obtained were uploaded to Axon via a community link. All documents were submitted to records. Okay, so here's my problem with this, and I believe she knows this. She's stating to the cop that she was intoxicated. This 13-year-old ran down to valet for a beer for her, so she obviously asked him multiple times, different ways. It wasn't just for the app. She also spoke to him in an elevator. Okay. And right there, she asked how old he was. So she knew. She knew this is a minor. But I'm going to shut up now, and we're going to go ahead and get into her explaining this stuff, and I'll try not to stop it.
I had been thinking about how to make this video for over a month now. And I'm just going to stop overthinking it and just be honest. And this isn't scripted. This isn't anything. I'm just making the video. And I'm going to be honest with you guys and transparent. And let's talk about it. So most of the internet knows by now that I was charged with a felony. There is so much to unpack with this entire situation. So buckle up. This might be a super long video. So after I moved back to Illinois to my parents' house from Florida, I got a call from Broward Police Department, and I thought it was something regarding, Noah's case or something like that. But they informed me that there was a warrant out for my arrest, and I started having a full body panic attack. I asked them on what charge, and they told me lewd and lascivious. I believe that's how you say it. And I was like, oh, is that a misdemeanor? And they said, no, it's a felony. So I was freaking out, genuinely so scared, didn't know what was going to happen. But I knew that, there was a warrant out for my arrest. So the incident that occurred that is in question was regarding an incident that happened back at my apartment in Fort Lauderdale in April. at the time, my mental health was terrible. I was drinking a lot to try and numb the pain of everything that was going on in my life, one of which was that my daughter wasn't in Florida at the time. She was in Illinois with my parents.
Okay, I don't care what is going on. The drinking excuse is not going to cut it for me. I do not agree with that one bit.
Because of a lot of things that were going on with Noah. And being away from her broke my heart every single day. It was almost unbearable. Also, none of this is an excuse. I'm just trying to give you guys kind of like where my mind was at the time when all this happened. So during this time, I really did not have a good caregiving situation. Selena was getting married, so she was really busy with that. I had another caregiver, and she wasn't always available. So there were a lot of times that I would go without care, and with having my disease, that could be very stressful, not only mentally, but also, harmfully physically. And I just felt really hopeless at this time.
I don't agree with the deflecting. You're here to talk about your felony and what you did wrong, not what was going on that made you do it or feel bad for me because this was happening.
It was hard to even get my basic needs met during this time. So I was drunk one night, came home to my apartment. I knew I wasn't going to have a caregiver to help me to bed that night. So I saw someone in my elevator in my building, and I asked them if they could help me. And they said yes. And obviously, we all know this is the incident where everyone's talking about the 13-year-old. At the time, I did not know his age. I knew he was probably a teenager. But with being disabled, my intentions were purely caregiving. There was no sexual motivation whatsoever. As being a disabled person that's 31 years old, I have had a lot of strangers help me, which obviously isn't the most safe thing, but sometimes
I understand her, saying as a disabled woman, she's had a lot of strangers, meaning she's had a lot of caregivers, and she's been through multiple, and stories have come out, when it comes to the caregivers. She likes to drink with them. It's a whole nother shebang. But, I get that, okay? Yes, you're used to strangers. This is a 13-year-old child, that you already asked the age of. You already knew was 13 years old. That is not okay in any way, shape, or form. You mean to tell me you live in this big high-rise with all these apartments in this building, that there's valet downstairs and all this, and the only person you could get when you're so used to strangers is a 13-year-old boy? Now, that doesn't make no sense to me. I'm gonna shut up.
Sometimes you have to do what you have to do to get taken care of, and I realized this was a huge mistake on my part, and I wasn't really thinking about the repercussions it would have. The person, he was very kind to me, said he would help me, and basically at that point I didn't have care that day, so I was essentially sitting in pee. So I asked him to put me in a bathtub.
Again, I am so sorry. But she's saying she was essentially sitting in pee, but she had just come back from the Wharf, which is an entertainment place that I had put the picture up. There it is again. So she's there drinking, having a good old time, and lives in a high-rise with all these other people, and I'm sure she knows her neighbors, somebody that is an adult, but proceeds to go with the 13-year-old. Okay. Make that make sense.
So he did take off my dress, and he put me in the bathtub. I told this to the police. This is all public record as well. And to me, it wasn't weird because at the time, one, I was drunk, and all I really wanted was to get pee off of me. And two, to me, caregiving is clinical. It isn't, inherently sexual to see a naked body. But obviously, this kid was younger, and it was not a very good decision on my part, obviously. So he did not touch me or anything. He just took off my dress, put me in the bathtub, and I just sat there, let my body, kind of rinse off for a minute. And yeah, essentially, he helped me do some stuff around the house a little bit, and I asked him to put me in my bed with my BiPAP on, and he did. He was very kind. At that point, his mom had been calling, and he wasn't really answering. So I was like, no, just answer. You could tell her my unit number, have her come down, and I just want to thank her for you helping me in this really, really hard time that I'm going through right now with the lack of care. At that point, I was already in my bed, and his mom did come down when I was in my bed, so I didn't even see her or anything in her face. But she just started yelling at me, and she was very, very upset. That is when the next day, the police showed up to my apartment, questioned me. I told them the truth. I told them everything. And at that point, it was very, very scary because I, was basically accused of being a predator. And everyone online, this is everywhere. This is on TikTok. This is on Facebook. Everyone's been posting about it.
Accused of being a predator? Yeah, but look what you did. You were even at like a bar. You could have got a friend that you met at the bar. Hey, you want to come home with me? I'll pay you. If you help me wash off and get in bed and all that. But you continue to go for the 13-year-old. So can you blame people?
And I'm not a predator. Anyone that knows me in my real life knows I'm not a predator. Anyways, I think the kid, don't even remember his name. That was it. And then, yeah, like I said, 2 months ago, whatever, a month and a half, you guys know the timeline's better than me. I got a call about my warrant, flew to Florida with some good friends of mine that were so supportive. And I essentially had to go in to turn myself in to get arrested, to get rid of the warrant. You have to do that, and then get bonded out. So I went there to do that. Scariest thing in my life. I didn't end up going to jail or getting processed the traditional way because they weren't equipped to handle someone with my type of disability. Although my attorneys did kind of give them a lot of prior information about what my needs would be during this whole processing through the jail. But when I got there, they were not equipped or ready to handle that. So I ended up getting fingerprinted right in the courtroom. Yeah, just 37 minutes. Just shaking in my boots, literally shitting my pants. My attorneys had told me that to go to jail, there was going to be someone there with me the entire time if I needed anything. Obviously, I'm assuming they would be under a ton of liability if anything medically were to happen to me, if I was in custody. So that was the plan. So finally they called my docket and the judge was in there, and the judge he was an incredible man. Obviously I sat in the courtroom for probably over a dozen other cases before mine got called. And like I said, it was just incredibly humbling and surreal to be in that type of presence and atmosphere. So anyways, basically the officers, my attorney, and then prosecutor going all back and forth in the courtroom discussing kind of what they're going to do with me since it seems like they're unable to take me to jail. Honestly, I think everyone in that courtroom, when they found out I was the defendant, because I was sitting in the back of the courtroom, because that's where there was a space for my wheelchair. I think when everyone in there found out that I was the defendant, everyone was like, what in the hell is this woman doing here? So then finally my docket got called, and I was having a panic attack. I was shaking, and Selena was rubbing my back, and I was having a panic attack. And just to hear your name called by a judge and case number on felony charges, super, super, super intimidating and scary. Essentially, because of all the issues they were having with me going to the jail, the entire time they were talking about my case, it was sidebarred between the judge, my attorney, and the prosecutor. So I couldn't really hear everything that was said at all. I actually couldn't hear anything that they were saying. But that's when My attorney came over after they were done for about, like, it seemed like a lifetime that they were talking. And my attorney finally came and said, you're not going to jail today. They just don't have the resources to be able to do that. So they're just going to fingerprint you. So they only were able to fingerprint my left hand, because my right hand, like, is very, very disabled. And I told them my friend could help me, like, fingerprint my right hand, but they were like, no. And that's when a plea deal was brought up and introduced right then. My attorney said it looks like, they're going to be offering a plea deal, and she gave me a gist of what it might look like. And at this point, I'm just like, I feel like I'm out of my body. It was like an out-of-body experience. I was like, I don't know what to do. Is this the right thing to do? She told me it looks like they're gonna give me a plea deal of a misdemeanor. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I just took the advice of my attorneys. And yeah, the judge ordered that I was to be released on my archivisance, and that my next hearing, I could attend on Zoom, which was the next hearing, which was maybe like a week ago, was for my plea. And so my plea was set into motion, and accepted by the judge, and I attended that hearing on Zoom. And so I officially was charged with a misdemeanor, and I'm currently on probation. I definitely made a huge mistake, and I learned a lot from this entire experience, and I just hope that, throughout this, I learned something I can grow to be a better human being. And ta-da! I know that me making these videos, there's going to be people in my comments, like there has been for the past months and months since even this incident came out online, before any of my arrests or charges or anything. So I'm just not really expecting anything too much to come of these videos. Just wanted to kind of put my voice to the narrative, I guess. And yeah, I'm just gonna try and do better and learn and grow, and just try keeping the best mom I can for my daughter.
All right, guys. So I'm going to keep my eye out for her and see what else she gets herself into. Is she going to stay sober? Is she going to stay at her parents? Is she going to stay off going live off TikTok? I will let you know. See you next time.